Yeah, I mean, we can't. We got to go with Beeks. We got to keep pitching him, and he's done a tremendous job. What he's done is he's saved our bullpen. I mean, he's given us. He's gone the max every outing. We haven't had to pull him because things weren't going well. He went his pitch count the first time out, second time out, third time, and this fourth time out. He went maybe 6, 7, 8, maybe 10 pitches over. But it was an easy 9 innings for him. When I say easy, he only had one inning really worked out of the stretch, and that was the inning they scored 2 runs. Probably should have only scored 1, but he cruised and just did a tremendous job, and we feel good about putting him on the mound this weekend. And kind of the way the weekend went with 2 games on Sunday. We almost have to stick with our rotation. Example, if we wanted to throw Beeks on, or say we wanted to throw Oliver or Killian, Friday or Saturday, they really, for sure, the guys that threw Sunday they wouldn't be able to go Friday. So we're kind of, I wouldn't say stuck with that order, but we'll go with Beeks on Friday, and I think we're going to move. As of right now, everything looks good. I think we're going to move Killian to Saturday, and. And go with Oliver Sunday. Now, if there was a situation we felt like we had to use Oliver, we may use him, but I wouldn't. I don't foresee that with the way our bullpen's been throwing. But this first weekend in conference, we'll go that order. We'll go Beeks, Killian, and Oliver.
How'd practice go yesterday, kind of getting back?
It was great. It was the best practice we've had in 3 weeks, easy. Just spirited. Started with a long day for the guys. Started with 6 o'clock weights. Everybody was there. Everybody was on time, and everybody had a smile on their face. They worked hard, and everybody went to class. Everybody got to practice early and bounced around, and they want to get it rolling. Disappointing 3-1 run losses, and those were tough losses because we could have easily won all 4 games out there. We out-hit people. Even in the game we lost, the second game, we guessed right, pitched out. They were squeezing like we thought, just had a feeling, and the play wasn't run right. The runner did a great job and veered to the left and cut in front of our catcher and did what he had to do. And the ball clips his helmet, and they take a lead and they beat us. It was just a smart base running play. But we're going to recover. It's not like we're playing bad. We just didn't win. And we got to do more. We got to drive in runs. And we had runners on. We just didn't get them in. Most of our rally started with 2 outs. 2 outs, nobody on. Next thing you know, we had 2 outs and 2 on, single and a walk, or 2 back-to-back hits, and then we'd line out or fly out or ground out or whatever the case would be. Really the only inning that I remember that was really, really disappointing is when we were down a couple runs and we had the base loaded, no outs. We had 2, 3, and 4 coming up, and we strike out looking on a pitch. It might have been outside, but it was too close. Got to protect. There were 2 strikes. That's kind of our thing. That's what we talk about. And then we hit into a double play that wasn't a double play, but they called it a double play, and it cost us a run. So life on the road can be tough sometimes. You got to make your own breaks. And I tell the guys, when you go on the road, you're down 1-0 before the game starts. You got to outscore them too, and it's usually the way it works. And hopefully we learned a lot from it. It was a tough trip travel-wise. Traveling to Florida will be a lot easier with the way we're going to travel, and I think that'll make them appreciate it a lot more, and hopefully we'll come out and play with a lot of energy this weekend, win or lose. We're going to get better.
Deciding on a third baseman.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Bernal probably. He's still swinging the bat pretty good. He had one game where he didn't play real well, and the game I guess against San Francisco on that Friday, we lose 2-1. But there's 1 out and 1 on. They hit a double play ball and it bounced over his glove, and they scored it a single. It was a tough hop, but I would have liked to have seen him get in front of that ball. We turned that double play, they don't score. They end up scoring 2 runs that inning. Final score was 2-1. Just little things, and you almost had to be there to witness it. But he's done a good job. I think he's probably earned that spot. So we'll go with him, to start out on Friday.
When you say it's a better way to travel and
Yeah.
whatever, what do you?
Well, we traveled commercial with a party of 40, and the way they charge you for bags, and the way we had to take 2 different planes from Northwest Arkansas to Chicago. We had to meet at the field house at 4 a.m. Get to Chicago, fly all the way on the same plane all the way to California, 4 hours from there. Get off, through the traffic, get to a hotel, change, and go practice. They were kind of like zombies Thursday night. I was. We all were. I mean, it's just the way you feel. You get up and try to play the next morning, say what you want to say. It's a little tough. And then when we leave to come back, we had a wake-up call at 3 a.m. in the morning, Monday morning. Plane left at 5:55 out of San Francisco. Fly to Chicago on one plane. 2 planes come here. One plane's an hour and a half later than the other. Bags were messed up. I mean, I could go on and on. The difference is tomorrow we take a charter plane. We load a bus tonight with a lot of our equipment. It drives 16 hours with 2 drivers and picks us up at the Gainesville airport. Now, that's the way to travel. So, and it'll be that way on the way back. And they don't miss school. Everybody in class. We don't leave until everybody's out on Thursday. We get more rest. And then on Sunday when the games are over, we get back quicker. Obviously, they should feel a lot better about going to class and doing their homework and everything they need to be doing to be a student. So, and then on the other side, it's just better on your body. So, I think the new guys are going to go, wow, this is nice.
What's the difference this week going to be compared to last going and playing because of the weather? Like, what do you not get accomplished when you're not outside that you?
Well, I guess you just kind of get into a groove. It's like anything, we play baseball in the open air on a field, and if you're not out in open air on the field, it's tough. When you got an indoor facility, it can really help you. But when you're not out on a baseball field, and I think what made it tough is we've been out on the field, a couple 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden you're not out there for a week straight, and we're playing teams that have been out on the field. All 3 of those teams are West Coast or Southern schools, and Tulane might have been the best team there. We handled them. I don't know who the best team is. It's hard to say of those teams. We might have been the best team, but we didn't show it. And but I think you just get into a little bit of a rhythm and a flow, and I don't feel that. It's like in and out. It's like stopping and starting, and we can't get it rolling. And I told our kids yesterday, we were 7-0 in February. We're 1-6, 1-5 in March, and we have a lot of games starting this Friday through the rest of this month where we can make up some ground and we can get off to we need to get off to a pretty good start in league play. It's hard to recover in this league, but we also need to win midweek games as well and get our record going a little bit. And at the same time, we get to use more pitching midweek games. I got some freshmen I really want to see on the mound, and I've seen some of these freshmen that to me look like they're going to be our middle relievers. I think they're the guys with the good stuff. They just didn't have the experience. Now, and I'm talking about, like Teague and Taccolini. Obviously, Jackson. Jackson's got stuff to start. He can go a while. I got to get guys like Simpson going. Got to get him going, And Lowry needs to help us a little bit. Stone had a great outing, then he had a bad outing. But we learned something. Probably can't pitch him back-to-back days. Even though he says he's fine, probably shouldn't. Hindsight's 20/20, shouldn't have done it. Because he was great the day before. He couldn't find the strike zone a day later. So just learned a lot about our team, but I guess to answer your question, we just need to get some rhythm. We need to get going, practice time, and know when we show up every day we're going to be outside to play.
How can you compare this team to last year? Similar records after your West Coast trip.
Yeah.
And going into
I mean, you look at it statistically, pretty close to the same. Only I think this team has more offensive potential. I really believe that. You've seen it every now and then, seen them explode and just hit balls all over the field. Seen them struggle. But I do think the potential offensively, if we keep people healthy, once they get it going, it could be better. And then pitching-wise, it's inexperienced, but the numbers are pretty good right now. If you look at our numbers, I mean, when you lose 2-2 to one game and a 4-3 game, and It's tough. You know, we've been in all the games. We just need to punch in a few more runs. I don't expect our pitching to hold people down like this. You know, obviously the whole year, but I do expect our offense to pick it up.
Like Florida won a bunch of one-run games.
Yeah.
They're not scoring a whole lot.
Yeah, I mean, you look at their numbers. We're probably the same teams right now on paper. I mean, we're hitting a little better than they are. Not a bunch. They're hitting 250. We're hitting 266, and they've got a good ERA. We have a good ERA. We're fielding about the same. We're kind of the same team. They played a pretty good schedule. We played a pretty good schedule. You know, since I think this is a wide open series. You know, the only advantage they have is they're at home. They do have a couple experienced pitchers that are going for them. They also have a couple of young guys that they're starting and then bringing the older guys in late. So we'll see. This, like I said, this should be a really good matchup.
I feel like Wise and Fisher and some of those guys started to show a little more with the bats.
Wise has definitely shown a lot more. I mean, he's made a couple of adjustments. I mean, he's made adjustments the way he's swinging the bat, the way he's holding the bat a little bit. You know, he's thinking too much. When you step in the box, you just got to hit. And I think he swung the bat a lot better in California. Just maybe not a bunch of success, but just the swings were better and more confident. I think he's going to come out of it. Fisher's a guy that he's real streaky. I mean, he's been that way. He's hitting 174 right now. We need him to drive in runs. He's got 5 RBIs. That's 2 home runs and 5 RBIs. So you got 3 of those RBIs on 2 swings. But we need him to drive in runs, and if he can do that for us, it'll be a huge plus. I mean, the 2 guys you mentioned, those are the guys we're asking them to pick it up. They've got to help us out more offensively, and believe me, they're trying. They're working at it, and I think it's just a matter of time.
What's the key to winning in Gainesville? You did it 2 years ago, 2 out of 3.
You know, I mean, just like the question a minute ago, they played a lot of close games. We played a lot of close games. The difference is they've been winning theirs. You know, they had 3 extra inning games this weekend. Within 3, I think it was all 3 games might have been extra innings. So we've got to make a play, we've got to drive in some runs and find a way to win those games. What's the key? The key will be to start our rallies a little earlier in the inning. And if that's not the case, we've got to get big 2-out hits, because that's what we got the first few games. We were scoring a lot of runs with 2 outs, and it's funny how it works. It can be kind of contagious, or it can go south on you pretty quick, and you have to have confidence. You got to break through, but we've got to score runs with 2 outs. I think that's going to be huge for this series.
Keep the lineup the same.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest dilemma I have is where do I hit Eric Fisher? Do you leave him in the middle, or do you put him at the down towards the end? And I kind of shuffled it a little bit. I moved him to the 7 or 8 hole one game. I mean, perfect world, I'd like him to hit 5th or 6th. Right now, it's hard to put him there, so I might have to put him 7th and move McAfee up a little bit, or whatever the case may be there. But wherever we put him, we need him to produce for us and drive in some runs.
You want somebody behind Anderson.
Yeah, and Wilkerson, because I don't want them pitching around those guys, and if they do, they need to have to get out somebody that can do some damage.
Anything else? Did Poche pick enough? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, he went 3 1/3 or 3 innings, didn't give up a run at the time, but he walked people, and I think he walked the leadoff man in the 4th, and then walked the second hitter, and we got him. They might even thrown ball 1 to the next guy, and we went and got him. And they weren't, they weren't on him real good, and he didn't have great stuff. I mean, I kind of, we talked about some of the position players that need to elevate. Pitching wise, he's the guy that's got to elevate. It'd be nice to have another left-hander in there in that rotation. I love going left, right, left. But his next opportunity on the mound could be in long relief or spotted up, and if he goes good, against the lefties, let him go the next inning. Unfortunately for him or for the team, when he gets in, it might be because, we're struggling on the mound and we're down and it's early, and because that's kind of what his role would be. because he's got to be able to get those lefties out. But for us to be a real good team, a solid team that can save our bullpen a little bit, he needs to be a starter. You know, we see it in there. You look at the numbers. Team ERA against him is 1.17. But then you look over there and you see the number of innings pitched and the number of walks, and that won't make it. That's a walking inning. That's not winning baseball. So, you know, we need him. He's working. Blame it on the setback of the injury or just a sore arm after the holidays, but it definitely threw him back. And you know, if we can survive another couple of weekends, maybe he'll be a guy that'll really kick it into gear for us. Maybe come April.
Is Jackson your closer right now?
You know, Jackson's he can do it all to me. He can come in the 7th and finish the game for you. He could come in early in the 5th and finish a game, or we could just send him out there in the 9th. So I guess to answer your question, I have no problem closing him. I have confidence in him because he's got good stuff and he's got tremendous makeup.
Was Gunn just a product of having to get up so much during the weekend to warm up, and then by
Yep.
the time he actually got in?
And we got in, he threw, 8 balls in a row or something like that. And we've seen that from him before. You know, a lot of times he'll throw 3 balls in a row and then come back and strike out a hitter his first time. We've seen that 10 times since he's been here. And then he just stays in the groove. Everything was arm side up and away to the right-handers, up and into the lefties. And, yeah, that was a tough deal. You know, he didn't have a good outing. But you're right, he was up and down. But that particular game, you know, we paced him over there. You know, he's used to it. I mean, that's kind of life of a reliever, especially if you're a lefty and you're going to be a late inning guy. Just get out lefties or you're just closing. So he was frustrated with it. He'll have a good outing this weekend, I feel like.
How did Anderson play second last weekend?
You know, he made one error, I think. I don't know, 1 or 2, but one of them was a throwing error. You know, he was going to his left. It was a play that was going to be tough. Probably shouldn't have thrown the ball. A runner advanced. And then he might have booted one other ball, and one of them might have cost us a run because the guy ends up scoring and end up at second, but the other one didn't cost us. And you know, he's made 5 or 6 errors, and I think only one time has it cost us a run. That's the positive, but you know, he's got to be more consistent. You know, I tell him I just want you to make the everyday play, and what he makes a lot of times is plays you go, wow, what a play. Shows his athletic ability going to his right and then coming and getting a ball, throwing off balance, and then ground ball go between his legs because he looks up too quick, you know, didn't move his feet. But he works hard, and he works hard on his defense, hard as anybody, and he's conscious of it. I don't want him worrying about it, you know, because you can't worry about it. You just work to get better, and then you play the game. So I thought he played pretty good, turned a couple double plays. So we'll see. I think he continues to get better all the time.